Prince Charles also came to Nigeria. So after he came to Nigeria, there was something that took place that many people probably didn't notice. There was a picture he took where he had the Sultan of Sokoto on one side of him and he had the Oni of Ife on the other side. And then the Oba of Benin was behind, the Obi of Onitsha was behind, and then all the other people were behind. And when that picture came out, a few smart people spotted what happened. And they were like, how could this man arrange this? The way they communicate things is in pictures and in symbols. So I was looking at the picture, I said, what is the essence, what is the meaning of this symbolism? Because any symbol they communicate, there is something they're trying to say. So what I found out was that what the man has come to do is the power block in Nigeria, the colonial power block has been solely in the hands of the Fulanese. They are the only people that have been holding the power block. But now they found out that at this critical stage, if the Yorubas are not brought on to become part of the power brokers, that it might be a very big problem for them. So what he came to do is to adopt and initiate the Yorubas into the colonial power structure of Nigeria, and he used photographs to show that to the whole world. One governor who found out what happened was Governor Wike of Rivers State. But he talked about it in a political way, not in the way that I'm explaining to you right now, but he understood what has happened.
Look at the traditional rulers they brought. Those who produce the wealth, they kept them at the back end. And you say we're one country. So it's so painful.
They brought the Yorubas in, but then even after they brought the Yorubas in and adopted them into the power broker structure, did it even make Buhari to begin to take more Yorubas in his government? No, it still did not make him. They still do not trust the Yorubas. They believe that even though Yorubas have been brought on board, that if they get them into the inner workings of the colonial power structure in Nigeria, that the Yorubas will turn around and still deal with them. Because once you are already smart, you are smart, and the British colonial masters don't want to see smart people around when they have to deal with their colonies, so-called. So they prefer people who are dumb. They prefer people who are illiterates. That's why they choose the Fulanese, nomads, herdsmen. These are the people they chose, and they call them the final race, and they are better than all the other races in Nigeria. Why? Because these are the people who don't answer any question. But is that all they did? No, that's not all they did. Why did they bring us RUGA? If you watch now, you will notice that RUGA does not want to stay in the northern part of Nigeria alone. Governor Ganduje of Kano State is telling the federal government to stop Fulanis from moving around, that they should return. He has enough place in Kano for them to do whatever they want to do. Northern Elders Forum went and said, please vacate the south and come home. The north is big enough. Coalition of northern groups said, come back. And what they got was a threat from Miyetti Allah to them. These are established political structures, sociocultural structures in the north, talking, telling Fulani to come, and Fulani is threatening them. So who is then blowing the trumpet for the Fulanis in Nigeria? You see, the billion-dollar question. If the Fulanese are connected with the people who are giving ultimatum and calling them to vacate, and suddenly, why are they now threatening them? That if anything happens to any one of them, that they are going to first of all deal with those ones before even dealing with their enemies, whom they claim that if anybody tries anything on them, wherever they are in southern Nigeria, that their people will deal with that militia or any group, and in such a way that they will never try any such thing again. This is to show you. Remember when Dr. Kach was talking on Channels Television, he said he was speaking to these Fulani guys, that they were not understanding English.
In Katsina State, I went to Kwatarakwashi. So along the Kwatarakwashi Kankara Funtua route, I saw Hausa youth blocking the road. And when I asked what is this, they say their people are being killed and the government is not doing anything. I noticed that a lot of the headsmen that I talk to, they don't speak English. They don't speak Hausa. Because I said, "Hey, Mutumina," he said, he kept quiet. I said, "May I say, why is he not talking?" He kept quiet. And they say, "Hey, they should stop speaking French." And they say, two French say, "Oui." And he starts feeling comfortable. And as we continue to talk, I found some of these people are from Mali, some from Mauritania.
He confirmed it. They were coming from outside the country. Who is the person coordinating the movement from outside the country if it is not these colonial elements that want them to spread across the entire nation? Because if the Fulanis wanted actually to get a grazing area, the north is enough for them. They have already told them to go back to the north and do. Why did they refuse? Because the colonials want to use them as a glue that will now glue every part of the nation. So this is how it's going to work. They will have their presence in every state in Nigeria. And when they get into all those states, their population will be increased or will made to increase. When the population increases, they will now give them the power in Abuja. So imagine if you have Fulani people in all the states and their population is rising every day, and they have representatives in the state government and have representatives, and they are also controlling what is happening in Abuja. What that means is that nobody from that other state can ever get up and say, "No, we don't want to be part of Nigeria again, we want to go on our own." Because the Fulanis in those states will now say, "No, we are also part of this state, we don't want to leave Nigeria, we want to stay in Nigeria." And by virtue of the power that will be given to them in Abuja, they will enforce it, because you, the majority in your own indigenous state, will no longer have any say, because the people who have say are the ones who have power in Abuja. So the Fulanis in your state are the ones who will be deciding what happens. You can't even say, "I don't want to be a part of Nigeria anymore." They will now become the powers of one Nigerianism inside your own state. This is why Miyetti Allah wants to be in every state, because they are being used to hold Nigeria down and make sure that one Nigeria is sustained for another 100 years without negotiation. The other 100 years came by fraud and it expired. People are now woken up. They now want another 100 years of one Nigerianism unnegotiated by force, and they want to use the Fulanis to accomplish that. This is why they want to be present in every single state. And they are not just going there for grazing. You've already seen the whole thing about RUGA. It's been exposed. It is to create settlements where millions of them will come. They will, if care is not taken, outnumber the indigenous peoples, and they will be the voices that will be heard at the government level. This is the planned takeover of Nigeria. They are foreigners. The one knows that the foreigners came. That's why I'm going to put a video to prove to people that foreigners came to kill Biafrans. The massacre in Asaba. I will show you a video now. You will see that the foreigners came and they killed our people.
They told us that they were going to kill us. But it sounded like a joke, because the conversation were just going smoothly and we were moving further inside. When we were sufficiently inside, more soldiers arrived and they mounted machine guns. Then their leader addressed us in pidgin English. He was a second lieutenant. He said to us, "Me, I come from Chad. I hate all Igbos. You be Igbo, therefore you must die."
So it was colonials who did it, and when their son, who is General Gowon, came to kill our Biafran, they also probably, that's what I said, probably, now rectified what the colonials did, even though they did not have any right to do that. That's why I've been calling on General Gowon, speak up and tell us that this is how it was. It is either true or it is not true, so that everybody will rest. You see what is happening? This is why they want to take over Nigeria, to negotiate another 100 years for us. So as the Fulanis are spreading now, fighting, beating the drums of war, you watch out what is going to happen very soon. Even when war is not coming towards them, they will start the war by themselves. And when they start the war, you know what that means? In Britain, before you close your eyes and open it, they will send their soldiers to come to Nigeria. They say, there's serious war going on. The war may not even have lasted up to 1 week or 4 days. You will see the British military will just land in Nigeria to keep peace. just like what Gavin Williamson had leaked in that document that I talked about in my previous video. They will just use that as a pretext that we're coming to keep peace. And once they land in Nigeria, they will now stand behind the Fulanis and make sure that all the one Nigerianic satanic plot they have is entrenched, and nobody will open their mouth again to say, I want to go out of Nigeria. They want it done because one Nigerianism is a symbol and epitome of colonialism, modern day colonialism. Until that wickedness is destroyed, nobody will ever have freedom in any part of Nigeria. This is why we are calling on people, first of all, begin with waking up. Begin by coming to terms with the reality. Stop praying for Nigeria to be together. Nigeria has expired both in the spiritual and in the physical, and in any aspect you can look at it. It is expired. And let me tell you even the truth. As we keep on praying, no matter what the colonials do, no matter what the agents do in Nigeria, you mark my words, write it down today, Nigeria will still break. It will still break apart. Because we are not meant to be together. If you are joined together by Satan, you will always have trouble all the days of your life. If God has not put something together, it will be put asunder. But what God has joined together, let no man put asunder. But did God join Nigerians together? No. That's why we're fighting each other every day. And that's why foreigners are now in our lands, claiming right everywhere. Look at Yoruba land now. Everybody's running helter-skelter, looking for how to get ready for war in Yoruba land. Then we warned you. We told you this thing before. And everybody was boasting with, we have access to Abuja, we have access to Buhari. Look at what is happening. They believe that Yoruba land is their next Sambisa forest. I said it in my previous video. Yoruba land now is overwhelmed to the point of manning a highway in Ondo State. And you tell me what that means. That's why we need to wake up, my people. The colonials are dangerously ready to destroy all of us. The kind of money they make out of Nigeria, if you hear the sound, you may have convulsion. I'm not joking. If you hear the sound of the money alone, you may even fall, you will fall into coma. So they are ready to kill everybody to make sure that that money continues coming. Now that they have brought Boris Johnson, I don't know, maybe they believe Trump loves him, they put him there so that they can use him to distract Trump from paying attention to Nigeria. Let me tell you, the prime ministers of England are like civil servants. They don't know anything, they don't have any power. The real power brokers are the royals in that palace. They are the people. Forget about whether Boris Johnson comes or he doesn't come. These people have a plan to come and recolonize us and hold us together by force, knowing that Nigeria has expired. But the God of heaven, the maker of heaven and earth, will never allow it to stand. We must break, it will break, and we will all go our separate ways so that we can go and begin to fight for our destinies. We have rights too as human beings. Enough is enough. May God help us. Please join us as we pray. Even when we are done with this our July warfare prayers that we pray on Facebook, on Joseph Okechukwu Facebook, 12 midnight every day, even when we are done with it, I want Nigerians to see the problem we have gotten ourselves into. This is a very dangerous thing. We need to begin to pray. Wherever you are, these people are descendants of Lucifer. If we don't pray, we cannot get anything done. We must pray and pray and pray until God will frustrate the tokens of these liars and give us our freedom on a platter of gold. And may God help us as we ride on, because our time has come.